We are speaking today about the education and innovation in education. And as you know, India has been a land for innovation. And not just in education, take medicine, astronomy, architecture, arts, mathematics, science, name it. And it is amazing the amount of innovation which has been done through the centuries in India. But the beauty of the innovation in India was that the innovation always went with deeper spiritual values. But what India needs today is more and more individuals, more and more institutions coming forward to create this innovation in every field and very specifically in education. Sri Aurobindo Society has taken up several areas of activity in which we are trying to bring this approach of innovation, but again based on the deeper spiritual values as distinct from religious. This is our invitation to you, to all of you. Let us work together for the advent of a new world, of which peace and unity will be the foundation, diversity and dynamism its way of action, harmony and happiness the constant results. Thank you.
Innovation is all about asking questions. So I actually would like to raise certain questions for all of us. All of us as individuals, all of us as educationists, all of us who've gone through the education system as to what should we be doing next. And as a person who's gone through the education system, as a person from a technology company, I think we're probably missing the bus in terms of how we should integrate technology into the educational system. What is the ultimate aim?
First of all, very good morning to all of you. We need to, create more, and everybody gets more in life of development and technology and etc., etc. But how do you create more from less? You have less resources, you have lesser inputs, but you need to create more. And you also use another word, more from less, for more people who deserve it. So more from less for more. It's a fantastic word of innovations.
Why do we need logic and reason and data and analysis for every aspiration we have in our country? We don't. We just need to dream. We need to aspire. Some of us need to stand up and define a vision for that baby called India. Innovation always happens through series of structured experiments outside the boundaries of logic and reason. So as educationists, as you sit back and think about what is the task and role of your role and what is the education agenda of the new government which is going to come in, it is not about teaching, it is not about learning, it is not about arithmetic, it's not about English, but it is about inspiring, unleashing the power of young innovators, unleashing. Unleashing means let the leash go.
This particular panel talks about the way these students look at education and the support structures around them.
As far as schooling is concerned, well, the problem I faced is I never liked bookish language. And sadly, for us, at least in India, and following the CBSE and board format, bookish language sort of becomes our Bible. If I had to go in for my board exam and perform well and get 90 plus, I had to go there and ram everything from that book and not question the book. The book was my Bible. So that's a problem I faced, at least in my schooling education.
There is no doubt in my very modern mind that there is nobody else who knows how a child's future, or at least can guide the child as much as the teacher, even more than the parents. You do it year after year. Parents are doing a class 10th board once. So even if we are outdated as staff members or as teachers, there is nobody else who knows it better than us. But the problem is we've got to take the parents into confidence. We are all service providers at the end of the day. Look at yourself through the other people. Don't look at yourself as, oh, I'm a teacher, so I'm great, I told the kids. We also need to see what is the other person thinking of me. I think I'm teaching them and I'm doing a great job, but do they think the same? Look at Facebook. So many schools have banned Facebook, or they punish students who get onto Facebook and write comments about the teachers. I mean, that's silly. So that mismatch has to stop. We all have to become stakeholders in this process together. So first, importantly, stop taking ourselves so seriously, and let's become service providers, but with much better sort of equality amongst anyone who's studying with us. We should all be at an equal platform.
Many a times, I'm sure my colleagues here would agree with me that you have less of a choice, when you're being supportive. Many a times, you have to be supportive to the teachers, because after all, the school runs with the teachers. And I think a certain amount of liberty has to be given to the teacher to be effective as a role model. Well, if there are too many checks and balances placed on a teacher, she cannot give her 100%.
There are no easy answers to how do you go forward, because education by definition is very highly regulated all over the world, not just in India. And as I was coming here, I was thinking what is required to go forward, and I came up with 3 things. Number one, somewhere you have to have very strong belief that you can change things, that you can actually do things at truly a very cliched world-class levels, that you can actually have the best of what is available out there. Number 2, I think you need a lot of innovation, and innovation is possible. But you have to be very careful to balance that innovation with what is traditional and accepted. And if you deviate too far, too soon, then people are dismissive of you. So it's important that people who are already in education accept that what you are doing is not too innovative, if you will, and that you are sort of within a range of innovation. And the third thing is a little bit trivial or frivolous, but it is so true, is that you need to have a really thick skin to change in education in India. Thick skin in terms of tenacity, in terms of keeping at it, and just continuing to believe that what you are doing is the right thing.
There are a lot of things happening with the institutions, with the initiatives we are involved in. And there are a lot of pockets, and every day there's something new, innovative comes in. Maybe small, but very thrilling. Something very beautiful which emerges, but it dies its organic death. As Kalichi Knowledge Center, we have trained more than 3,000 teachers into soft skills and other different areas where we wanted to empower them. And one of the questions our trainers have been asking is, have you ever documented even 1 year of what you have been doing? Ladies and gentlemen, today I'm inviting you for a new basis of understanding and the power of documentation of what you already have. And then the second step will go, how can we improve on what we have, and how can we innovate and then showcase to the world? Let's our contribution matter. And the basis of it is documentation.
We are talking about education, and then we mean by it mostly academic. And we have seen how narrow is the definition and how limited is the definition. The Center of Education in the ashram where I grew up at Pondicherry. Right from that age, I used to go every day for an hour because the ashram life was part of the education, because the construction of a house was going on there, and I used to go and work, not as a vocational skill. It was part of education and development, carrying that mud falling all over you, carrying the bricks, carrying the things which were there. In our community kitchen, the first work which I was given was when the people come, so many 2,000, 3,000 people for having their meals, we as children had to take the slippers and put them in a proper order. And it was nothing to do with vocational skill, it was a part of self-life, getting ready for life. I'll share with you one example. I had a teacher of science, and one day he came into the class and said, let us go down. There, his own cycle was there. And he said, dismantle my cycle and assemble it again. There was no preparation, nothing. And with all of us were so excited to get a chance to dismantle the cycle, who tells you? And we rushed to it, and everybody opening every nut and bolt, and nobody bothered to keep which bolt will go where and how do you order it. And here the whole things were there, and now when you start assembling it, somebody, where was this? What was it? Where do you put? How do you put? Somehow we struggled to get many things together. But when the flywheel came and the ball bearings were there, each time we will try to put them, they will fall off. 3 of us, 4 of us, 5 of us, one person holding this, one person holding that, one person holding the ball bearing, trying to fit in. The moment you try to fit in, the ball bearings will fall off. And there was the teacher smiling away, standing, no suggestion, no help, nothing. You struggle. After 15-20 minutes we had struggled like that. He tells us, you are 4 of you. For 20 minutes you have not been able to do it. A little boy there does it exactly in 3 minutes, and he gets for his whole day, he earns 50, not even 10 rupees. Next time when you see the boy working, look at him with far more respect. Know what he's capable of and what you are capable of. Our education of the future has to be built on these type of steps. Then the true innovation in India, you'll have the students not as rubber stamps, all of them the same, each one individual creating something very, very new and beautiful and different. And this is the purpose of this session, that what really is integral education about and how we can bring it, all the aspects of the human personality as part of the growth.
My duty is to pull together, best as one person can, all the different streams of what we've heard and try to put it into some kind of a context. So if you're going to put it in a sentence, what have we been hearing and seeing? To me, what I'm hearing and seeing is the next stages of an educational transformation movement. Educational transformation movement means working at the top of the pyramid and the bottom of the pyramid at the same time. You have to be able to go out to the village. You have to be able to talk to corporate leaders. You have to be able to talk to the government. You have to be able to talk to the teacher in the government school. One day you may not have electricity, the next day you're in Taj Palace. That's the way it has to happen. And this conference and the meeting that we just had with the ZIIEI consortium project directors and all the conversations we've had with principals and students and teachers, everywhere we're hearing the same thing. Now's the time to build infrastructure. We cannot build the movement without infrastructure. It doesn't happen. You don't go from one person wanting change to change happening in the society without going through the stages of transformation. And the stages of transformation, I think where we are, coming out of the pilot stage, is the need for educational infrastructure within the educational innovation movement.